consultant architect and vice chair of the board for the Cleveland Restoration Society, I thought it was just very important for us to commemorate civil rights icons. And we worked together with our committee, so it wasn't only myself, but we worked tirelessly over the years to bring forth different sites for different individuals and different events. And this particular marker was very important to me because, number one, my dad was a season ticket holder, and he shared quite a bit about Jim Brown and the event that took place June 4th, 1967. So it was very important for me to continue this legacy and use my talents to bring forth more markers and do the things that's necessary as a trustee with the Cleveland Restoration Society. And as mentioned previously, this is the 6th marker, and what's important about the markers are that they really commemorate different aspects throughout the city, starting from Corey Methodist Church to the Cleveland Brown Stadium, Shaker Heights, Ohio, and various other locations. So please join or take a look at our website and follow the trail and be a part of that civil rights legacy.
Thank you so much, Dan. And now we would like to hear a few words from the 58th mayor of Cleveland and our first millennial mayor, Mr. Justin Bibb.
I'm quickly aging out as a millennial, by the way. No, I'm just kidding. It is so great to be here to celebrate this momentous occasion in our great city. Just a few hours ago, I had the chance to moderate a panel with John Wooten, who's here today. Let's give him a round of applause. John really set in context how historic this moment was, not just for Cleveland, but across the nation. The Ali Summit, led by John and the late, great Jim Brown, by the way. And we're also joined by Jim's wife here as well. Let's say hello. Great to see you. So it's so great to have this marker here in our city, but it also is great for our young people to see this marker because they know that our city has an historic place in American history as well, too. So again, we're honored to commemorate this special marker, and go Browns. Let's get a win on Sunday. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mayor Bibb. Next, we are going to hear from Cleveland City Council President Blaine Griffin. As the leader of Cleveland City Council, Mr. Griffin represents Fairfax, Larchmere, Little Italy, Woodland Hills, and part of the Buckeye Shaker area.
Good afternoon. It's a great day in the city of Cleveland. Y'all can show more enthusiasm than that. Good afternoon, everybody. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you to everyone for coming here today. Civil rights and really celebrating our culture and history in the city of Cleveland is very important because in the city of Cleveland, we do things right. We're history makers. And I have to say, where you used to go back in the day and everybody had a picture in their house of JFK and other luminaries, I could tell you in every black barbershop, in every home, African-American home across our community, you see this picture of the summit taking place in the city of Cleveland across our country. I don't care where you go. So to be able to celebrate this moment and the impact that it had on our community means so much and means volumes. I also want to thank the Browns and the Haslam Sports Group and everyone else for really honoring my friend, a person who I can honestly say was my friend and spent a lot of time playing chess with him, a lot of time understanding what this moment meant to him, the great Jim Brown, and what he meant to the city of Cleveland, and be able to reflect this. Jim had a dream when we were dealing with some of the most tumultuous times in the city of Cleveland, where we had police-involved shootings across America, here in Cleveland, where we had other kind of strife, and also some of the violence that we see, where young people are often the victims and perpetrator of violent crime in our city. Jim had a vision that we would revive the summit. And I see some of my good friends that are here, like Kevin Clayton and others, that I hope that we can finalize, and I know we did it during the All-Star game, but to really bring that summit here again today to deal with so many of the issues that we're dealing with in our community, from violence to economic growth and wealth and everything else. So on behalf of Cleveland City Council, I'm proud to be here today for this great moment to honor a great man, Jim Brown, and also honor that summit that took place here in Cleveland. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you, thank you. Well, next we are going to hear from historian and a member of our Cleveland Civil Rights Trail Committee. He is an attorney at Thompson Hine, LLP, Mr. James Robinault.
Thank you very much. I've been asked to read the names of the people who are in the photograph, the famous summit photograph, to let you know exactly who it is. But I start off by telling you that John Wooten has explained that the Cleveland Browns, as a professional sports franchise, really broke down the race barriers and had a tradition of doing that, so that it's interesting that in this photograph, most of the athletes were either Cleveland Browns players or former Cleveland Brown players. So it's really kind of an important, important reminder that the Browns have this legacy, and it's a great legacy. So in the photograph, in the front row, you have four of the greatest athletes of all time: Bill Russell, Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown, and then Lou Alcindor, later Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They're some of the four most important athletes in American history, and they're in this picture in the front row. Back row includes Carl Stokes at the very one end, who will later become the mayor of Cleveland, and that's part of the politics brought into this whole thing, the civil rights movement. Next to him is Walter Beach, who is part of that '64 team, still alive and involved with the Browns. Bobby Mitchell, a great Hall of Famer, Sid Williams, Curtis McClinton of the Kansas City Chiefs, Willie Davis of the Green Bay Packers, Jim Shorter, who is a defensive back, and then of course the great John Wooten, who brought them all together with a call, and as he said, and as has been written, nobody said no to you, John. They all said yes, and they all came, so really we need to celebrate this legacy for the Cleveland Browns. Thank you.
Next, we will hear from Rodney McLeod, number 26 of the Cleveland Browns, and I believe also Marquise Goodwin.
Good afternoon to everybody. It's really an honor and privilege to be standing here right in the city of Cleveland, where we now are going to unveil this 7th marker, and understanding the importance that Cleveland served during this time that we're honoring, how a lot of African Americans migrated to this city and what they were able to accomplish, and the great minds that were all a part of this Ali Summit. One individual standing here today, and John Wooten, and I just want to give him a round of applause for making that happen. And honestly, the legacy of Jim Brown continues to live through us as players of the Cleveland Browns, myself and Marquise. Being an athlete and what that means, they're all great trailblazers, and being to understand the importance that they serve, that it was more than the game. It was about community, and it was about putting their people first, and it was about speaking up for people who were voiceless, and it was about being courageous and brave. And so we both, I know Marquise as well, will continue to honor them through our work within the community, and we vow to continue to always put our people first. And I lastly want to thank Mr. Haslam for allowing us to be here today, the great community leaders that stand before us, and to the city of Cleveland. It's truly an honor, and thank you.
Okay, so now I would like everyone to put your hands together for the principal, managing partner, or principal and managing partner of the Cleveland Browns, Mr. Jimmy Haslam.
Thank you, and thank you to everyone who's here today to celebrate such a special event. And the only thing I regret is that Jim's not here for this event because he and John Wooten were responsible for making it happen. We, along with John, had the privilege of speaking at Jim's memorial service down in Canton the first week in August. And being in professional sports, as Rodney and Marquise and others can tell you, is a real privilege. And one of the privileges is you get to meet a lot of people you would not normally meet. And when we bought the Browns, one of the very first people, or couples I should say, we met were Jim and Monique Brown. And the mayor recognized Monique, but Monique, stand up. Monique and Jim have become great friends of our family, and we have learned a lot from them. We'll continue to do so. And where is Eris Brown, Jim's son, who interned for us this summer and is a student at Hampton, right there. So Eris, welcome back. Glad to have you here. When we spoke at Jim's funeral, I said there were a couple of things that I learned. There were a lot of things I learned from him, but two in particular, and I think are significant for this event here today. First of all, Jim at an early age was involved in all kinds of social justice, civil rights causes. I don't even know if the term social justice was around then, John. Civil rights certainly was, but Jim and John and others were involved, I guess, in their late 20s, early 30s. And Jim, like John, remained involved literally until the last few days of his life when he was too unhealthy to do so. And I think all too often today there's too much complaining and bickering and, if you'll pardon the expression, bitching, and not enough people involved trying to make a difference and trying to solve problems. And Jim certainly did a great job of that. The other thing I would say is, and I truly believe this, is I don't think Jim saw people as black or white or brown. I think he saw them as people. And that was a great lesson, I think, for me and Dee personally, and I think and hope for all of you here. So what a special day for the city of Cleveland, a very special place. And it's just really great to be able to have this event here today. And I hope that, and several people have said this, Rodney said it, I hope that the young people can realize how significant this is, and they too will become involved, because this is a great country. It's not perfect. There's lots of things we can do better. But if we don't stay involved, then it won't end up where we want it to be, and it won't be the kind of country that it should be. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And now we will have Mr. Garen Veras, who is a former American football player and defensive end for the New England Patriots, now working with the Cleveland Restoration Society and the Ohio History Connection. Mr. Veras.
Thank you very much. And I was here 42 years ago where we played the Cleveland Browns and they beat us. I'm just glad that John Wooten and Jim Brown weren't leading the charge that day, that's for sure. On behalf of the Ohio History Connection, thank you for inviting me to participate in this marker dedication today. The Ohio Historical Markers Program began in 1953, and it is a program that we are very proud of. It's the kind of program that allows local communities to identify, honor, and commemorate the important people, places, and events that have contributed to their past, and to share those stories in a visible and lasting way. The mission of the Ohio History Connection is to spark discovery of Ohio's stories, embrace the present, share the past, and transform the future. We strive to do this every day, but we can't do it alone. Historical markers and the people who create them, support them, and enjoy them contribute to this mission as well. There are now approximately 1,750 Ohio historical markers around the state, each telling a unique piece of Ohio's history. Your marker honoring Cleveland's Ali Summit and the Negro Industrial and Economic Union now joins other state markers in telling the story of Ohio. You are now to be commended for taking the initiative to identify this important historical aspect of your community. The marker that we are dedicating today was made possible through the vision, dedication, and hard work of many people. I would like to particularly thank, number one, the Cleveland Restoration Society and also the Cleveland Browns. These organizations came together around an important Ohio story and dreamed of a way to memorialize that story in their community. They came together to research and submit an initial marker application, to put together the funding to both purchase and install the marker, and to do all the unforeseen jobs that led to today's celebration. The Ohio History Connection's role was to guide and advise them through the process by helping them research and refine the final marker text you read here today, and to follow the marker through its production at CWA Studios in Marietta. It is our real pleasure to partner with you to tell this important story in Ohio history. To mark this special event, I'm proud to present commendations from the Ohio History Connection's Executive Director, Megan Wood, and the Board of Trustees. Ohio History Connection commends Cleveland Restoration Society for furthering the knowledge of our state's heritage by placing an Ohio historical marker to tell the story of the Ali Summit, the Negro Industrial and Economic Union, and their important place in Cleveland civil rights history. The Ohio History Connection commends the Cleveland Browns for furthering the knowledge of our state's heritage by placing an Ohio historical marker to tell the story of the Ali Summit, the Negro Industrial and Economic Union, and their important place in Cleveland civil rights history. Finally, I'm proud to present a proclamation from the Governor and Lieutenant Governor of Ohio. On behalf of the state of Ohio, we welcome all those gathered for the placement of an Ohio historical marker. Historical markers reflect and honor the people, places, and events associated with our state's rich history. And through this reflection, encourage appreciation of our past as we look to our future. We commend all those involved for ensuring our state's history is preserved and remembered, and we extend our best wishes for a memorable event. On this 8th day of September 2023, Mike DeWine, Governor, John Husted, Lieutenant Governor. Thank you again for inviting the Ohio History Connection to be part of your community's history and to participate in your dedication today. Enjoy your new marker and its important Ohio story.
And now we would like members of the Cleveland Browns and selected high school scholars to come up and accept the proclamations.
Thank you. Great job. Thank you very much.
Players of the Cleveland Browns gathered 11 black professional athletes and future Mayor Carl Stokes to discuss with boxer Muhammad Ali his refusal to serve in the Vietnam War. After their private meeting on June 4th, 1967, the the 12 men decided to support Ali on principle and held a lengthy national press conference. The boxer, considered the greatest heavyweight of all time, garnered the national scorn and paid a high price for his stance. Ali was arrested, found guilty of draft invasion, his passport confiscated, titles stripped, and U.S. boxing licenses suspended. The men in attendance also faced condemnation and threats. In 1971, the Supreme Court unanimously overturned Ali's conviction. The Cleveland Ali Summit is considered one of the most important civil rights acts in sports history.
The Negro Industrial and Economic Union, NIEU, hosted the Ali Summit at its Cleveland Browns headquarters on 10501 Euclid Avenue. Founded in 1966 by professional athletes, the union was formed as a self-help entrepreneurial organization. Believing that economic self-sufficiency was the key to racial advancement, the NIEU promoted African American entrepreneurship as a means to become involved in the economic infrastructure of America. Throughout the 1960s and 70s, union members developed training programs for black workers, provided loans to black businesses, and created job opportunities for young people, promoting green power with its motto, produce, achieve, prosper. NIEU played a significant role in advancing Cleveland's civil rights. Although best remembered for its role in the Ali Summit, the organization continues today as the National Black Economic Union.
And so now, time for the big reveal. We will have our Cleveland scholars unlift the veil on the marker. One.